friends and family. Thank you again for coming again to another science lesson in our UC San Diego Create STEM 10 Plus series. Today's topic, we'll be talking about airplanes, and we're going to show you how to make the perfect airplane so you can go out in your neighborhood park, go outside in your backyard and go fly your own paper airplanes that you're going to be flying. So today I want you to go there and look in your closet, put on your white lab coat. If you don't have a white lab coat, then go ahead and put any science clothing you have. Now that you're looking so science buff, I want to talk about the materials that we're going to be using to make your incredible paper airplanes. We're going to go ahead and start with our paper. Either at home you can have the colored paper or white paper, but if you don't have colored paper, then you're going to go ahead and run into your crayons or markers like how I have here. But definitely you need a colored paper or white paper if you have it, markers, crayons, a pencil, a ruler, scissors, and something really I want to emphasize on this, something really important. You want to have a lab notebook. When I say a lab notebook, it's because you're going to write down stuff that when you create your paper airplane and you didn't like how it flew, then you can record those observations, because then you can hypothesize and be able to create a new marvel as you speak, as you go. So this is going to help you to record any information, any data that you might not like. For example, was your paper airplane really heavy and it didn't flew, it just pretty much sank down? Or maybe your wings were too long and they need to be shorter, so it didn't flew too much. So all this stuff, you need a lab notebook. It's really important when you're working in your lab to be able to record everything. So make sure this is really important. Also, another thing that you might have at home or you can get from the stores, what I have here is optional. You don't have to have it. It's actually the New World Champion Paper Airplane book by John M. Collins, the paper airplane guy. This book is really fun. It has a lot of different designs that you can go ahead and try out with your family and friends, create new airplane models that you have never seen before. And it talks about how airplanes fly, how there's this one guy that won a paper airplane championship and how the airplane flew really far away. So it's a good book that you might have. So it's another part of the materials that if you have it, you can go ahead and get it. We'll put in the link down below about where to get it. You can look in your Amazon or anywhere in any bookstore. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to go in and talk a little bit more into the lesson. But before we go into the lesson, I want to go ahead and emphasize on 3 key words that I'm going to be talking about throughout the video, which are going to be friction, weight, and forces. Friction, well, if you look at the airplane as you fly, friction is actually going to be happening when you have 2 surfaces or 2 objects that come in contact and prevent and resist motion. Okay, for example, here the airplane's flying and you have a lot of air molecules that you can't really see. They're invisible to the naked eye, but what is happening, those particles are going to be slowing down the airplane by pushing the airplane back just a little bit, and that's what you call air drag or air friction. Another thing we're going to be talking about is weight. Well, for example, this paper airplane has mass, has matter. Well, what weight is actually how the force of gravity is influencing the paper airplane's mass. Okay, so pay attention to that when you fly in your paper airplane. And lastly, I've been saying this keyword, forces. What are forces? Well, forces are basically just a push or a pull. For example, the table here, if I push down, I'm exerting a force on the table. Okay, and also here I have my 2 hands, a pull, right? So this hand right here is gonna pull on the ruler. So you can think about that when you talk about forces. It's gonna be a push or a pull. So don't be scared about these words. They're gonna be talking about through the video to better further the explanation of how to generate a better perfect airplane to make yours go fastest and goes the longest distance. Okay, so I want to give you a demonstration of how gravity influences the airplane. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch here for you an airplane, and I'm going to go and sketch a really simple paper airplane that we are accustomed to seeing a lot. So this is an airplane. Okay, hopefully you don't make fun of my paper airplane. It's a nice paper airplane. I feel it's a nice paper. And these are downward arrows. So what these green arrows are representing is something that we call gravity. Okay, so this will allow the paper airplane to either, well, most likely to go down. That's the reason why your paper airplane goes down, because of the gravity is acting on the object. So that's why we're gonna be doing this. So now if I flip this paper to show you about the friction that the airplane is gonna experience, let me draw the paper airplane again. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put a lot of dots here. These dots are gonna be the air molecules that we can't see, but when we put our hands out and the car is moving, you can feel all those air particles just mashing up in your hand. So what's happening here, I'm gonna go ahead and draw arrows that are going this way. So this is gonna be friction. This friction is gonna be slowing down the airplane down. So this is gonna be showing you what's happening. You have your paper airplane coming this way, and then you have the friction of air molecules pushing it back to slow it down. So that's a visual that I wanna go ahead and incorporate in this video. So friction, and then we also have gravity, okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we're gonna go ahead and start and give you a tutorial on how to create an easy type of airplane, because there's intermediate airplanes and then there's like advanced or expert type of airplanes that you can do kind of like with the origami theme. So what I'm gonna go out here and do first, I am gonna go ahead and color code with orange this paper so you can see and know where I am working, what side of the paper I'm working with. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is start and go ahead and fold my paper in half and make sure it's the long way. Okay, make sure that it's long way. Make sure that your corners are evenly, they're aligned. Do your best. If you're doing it by yourself, do your best. If you have your friends, your family there, go ahead, give it and ask them for help. They wouldn't mind helping you out. So now once you do this, go ahead and open it up. And then you want to go ahead and grab a corner. Grab one of these corners and make sure that this side of the paper lines up nice and evenly with this first line that you just created. So go ahead and do your best. Okay, always you want to do your best. Go ahead and try, because that's how you learn. That's how you build your creativity, your imagination. So that you always want to go ahead and try it first before asking for help. Right, so then I go ahead and fold, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this other side and try to keep it as symmetrical as possible. All right, so here we go. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do. All right, and it's okay. You don't have to have it really pointy at the very top. It's okay if it's like kind of like flat. So don't be overthinking of overdoing it. So just keep it how it is. Okay, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and not this new edge that you just created. This edge is going to fold this way to line up nice and evenly with this line that we just created as well. So grab ahead on this side and kind of like fold until those two lines meet up. All right, this might be a little bit challenging, so go ahead and ask for help, but try it first. All right, now that I've done this, go ahead and press firmly. So this is going to be your first fold, and then you do the same thing with this other side. This has to line up with this, so it's going to fold this way. So here we go. All right, so do the best you can. Make sure that over here and the tip is folded nicely. Okay. All right, there you go. So now you have created something that looks like kind of like this shape. All right, so it's good. And then the next thing you want to do is just fold it in half again. How the first fold. It's gonna be a little bit challenging at the tip right here because you might have overlap, like how I did. I think that's how I did. So it might be challenging. So it's okay, and try to like fix it. And then go ahead and fold it. Make sure that everything lines up nice and evenly. Do your best. You see how my wings are not that evenly. For this video, it's okay, but with you at home, you have more time to practice it. So once you do this, now you want to go ahead and create the wings. So what you want to do is grab this and fold the paper this way, okay? And what you're going to do, you have this edge of the paper. It's going to line up with the bottom of this piece of paper right here. So go ahead and fold, okay, and try to keep it as evenly as possible, and then press firmly, okay? All right, so then you have created the first wing. Now what you want to do is pick the paper from the bottom and go ahead and fold it all the way to the other side, and then do the same thing that you just did. Okay, so grab the paper, fold it back down, make sure it lines up evenly. All right, and then you just press firmly. Okay, so you just have created your first paper airplane. Now let's talk a little bit about the physics, about the science behind this, because overall, yeah, we do have fun building paper airplanes, but let's talk about the science. The whole point is to get you into the science. So let's talk about this. So here at the bottom, we have just created the place where you're gonna put your hand and grab it. This is I'm gonna call it the base, and where you get to choose where you throw your paper airplane. So you can grab from the front, you can grab from the middle, from the end, but just know that you want to pay attention to where you grab it and how hard you throw it. So here is the region where you're gonna be the engine. Your hand's gonna be the one giving all the energy to the airplane so it could go. Okay, so this is the part where you give it that thrust, kind of like how we talked about in rockets. You give it that thrust to go ahead and move forward. And then we have the wings. So the wings is going to help it stay up in the air, okay? It's going to allow it to stay up in the air. If you want to go ahead and learn about more how or why does it stay in the air, it's by the lift force, which talks about Bernoulli's principle. So go ahead and do that Google search about Bernoulli's principle if you want to learn more about it. In the front part, you saw that I was doing a lot of folding. So my paper on the front is more and more heavier than in the back. So the reason for that is because this is the weight distribution is more this, the center of mass is more this way, and it's gonna allow it to go ahead and give it that more maximum potential energy that will definitely give it that airplane to go a longer distance. So when you go ahead and try it and test it, it's gonna go much more further. So there you go. There's the science behind it. And now let's go ahead and test some of these airplanes. Okay, everyone, so here we have Kevin, we have Aubrey, and then we have Derek. They're gonna test out their paper airplanes and see how they created this airplane and see how they fly. So go ahead, Derek, go throw your airplane. Let's see how it flies. Nice, good job. So leave it right there, keep it right there, so we can see that everybody's design. Aubrey, go ahead and toss your paper airplane. Nice, so it went right there. And then for last, Kevin, go ahead and throw your paper airplane. Nice, that one went really far. So this is the way you can do from at your house, test out your paper airplanes. And then remember, you have a lab notebook that you can go ahead and write down all the observations that you saw. For example, Kevin, what did you saw about your paper airplane?
Well, the thing I saw about my paper airplane is about the wind and how the angle it was. Because if you make it your plane an angle, it'll go farther. But if you like a different angle, it might hit the ground faster.
Nice, good job. And then we have this sign, a pretty basic paper airplane that we did, like the first design that we showed you how to do in the video. It's gonna be the paper airplane that they all three decided to throw. But go ahead and challenge yourself to go ahead and do this, okay? Well, there you have it. Thank you again for coming to another STEM 10 Plus series science lesson, and I hope that you enjoy making paper airplanes and flying them. Thank you. See you next time.